First of all, this man is from New England. He should know better. He is not dressed for the elements.
Yeah, I'm going to wear boots. I'm going to wear boots. Really?
Boots. I'm wearing.
Yeah, on TV. Really?
You don't necessarily. You get changed when you get here, Tony P.
Listen, I don't have a dedicated office. Okay.
If the man wants to be a true TV news person, you never start off talking about winter storm coverage saying feels like a vacation. Okay. Nope.
Who said that?
No, you said this feels like a vacation week.
No. I said generally it does.
Prepared. You have to be prepared with all sorts of.
All right.
Tony P, I am currently wearing fleece pants under my pants.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Remember Long John some years ago?
Oh my God, I
used to with hockey. When I played hockey,
that was my whole personality.
Yes. Which really, I was also learned to skate. I didn't do that well. I wore the Long Johns when I had my hockey equipment on.
And
it was
yet
so
you
cold.
showed up to work tonight in a full suit and leather-soled shoes.
Yes, because I'm committed to the craft, baby.
I believe they're Oxfords.
I think so, yeah.
With a cap toe.
Exactly. And they're a little bit worn out. But I'll say this overall.
I mean, he looks good.
The Metro was great.
Impractical.
The Metro was very well done. It was about between 8 to 9 minutes in between each train. So very solid. They kept it going a little bit slower than usual. They weren't breezing by, but it was very, very well done.
Okay, so the big debate over on Sunday into Monday and now stretching into Tuesday was, what was the correct time to shovel? And I know you didn't have to do any shoveling.
Didn't have to. That's the beauty of renting.
I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but the Capital Weather Gang had posted at one point on Sunday that the snow had basically stopped, and that was a good time to shovel. However, there were other creator accounts out there that said, no, don't do that, because if you get that bare pavement, all of that sleet, indoor freezing rain is going to fall, and then you are going to have a slick sheet of ice, as opposed to that ice, like you talked about, if you left the snow there, settled on top of that, and then you could shovel out underneath. I went that route. I did not shovel at all on Sunday. Waited until Monday. Luckily, my father-in-law is here to help. He did the bulk of the work, honestly, before I even woke up for the day.
Really nice.
I mean, it made it easier, I would say. However, the flip side was it was heavy, and there were giant chunks that we were moving basically off the driveway.
Right. It breaks up like ice.
This was, I don't know if you remember, but this was my question for Mike Thomas on Friday night.
Okay.
When was the correct time to shovel? I still don't know whether, what the right answer was.
Well, I saw people that were doing it kind of every couple hours. They were getting ahead of it. They were treating it on their own. And the biggest thing is the timing between when the plows get there, where there's more salting that's done. You have some things that are out of your control when you live in a city like DC or even a city like Bethesda, because it's very much urban. And again, there's some suburban angles to it, but there's a lot of, city-based resources and a lot of on the street parking, things of that nature. When you're living in the suburbs, you kind of have a little bit more autonomy over what you're putting on your driveway. Your HOA is usually a part of this. So I think you can kind of, your destiny's in your own hands versus with DC is a little bit more up in the air.
To my question of when was the right time to shovel. Anyway,
I think just periodically, every couple of hours.
We're going to be talking about snow and weather every night probably this week. That is one of the big stories we're following. The other big story we are following today is from the NTSB, one of the final hearings today, as we approach the 1-year anniversary of that deadly crash over the Potomac River outside of DCA. Coming up next, we're going to hear from the head of the NTSB why she says this was a 100% preventable tragedy. And then we'll talk a little bit more about some of the recommendations that we could see on the other side of this with one of our policy analysts. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Let me leave you with a live picture here from our Skycam at National Harbor.
What's up, you guys? So I'm doing the well, I'm not doing it, but I'm tuning into the live prime time show. What is it called? The Live Zone Primetime show. You want me to stand up? So if I don't talk, if I don't comment on your comments, just letting you know that I am doing a live stream with Vox 5. So just letting you know. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna stand up. Hold on. I gotta turn off the camera over here. All right. There you go. And I was wearing my pants inside out, so I'm just letting you know. Wearing my pants inside out. I'm hungry. I want to get something to drink. Not asking no person. I'm not responding to no personal questions. Who else? Smelling the air. Smelling the air. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dang, I got more people now than anything else. Why? Because I'm standing up. Yeah, I would show it, but I don't want YouTube to ban me. If you want to see it, you can go on OnlyFans. I have a page there called Little Feet Dom. Little Feet Dom. So, yep. Little Feet Dom.
Welcome back to the Live Zone Primetime on
back.
this Tuesday night. Now, coming up on Thursday, we will mark 1 year since the deadly collision at DCA Airport that killed 67 people. Today, though, the NTSB said that crash was 100% preventable. The agency delivered a draft of its final report during a public hearing, and the board members stated one simple fact, that it's never one thing but a series of events or system failures that lead to aviation disasters, including this one. The NTSB showed animations it created showing what it would have looked like from both the helicopter and Flight 5342's cockpits. The board members criticized the FAA for failing to follow through on past recommendations for aircraft crash avoidance systems and to better staff air traffic control towers, especially around complex airspaces like we have around DC.
Today, you will hear how deep underlying systemic failures, system flaws aligned to create the conditions that led to this devastating tragedy. From design of our airspace around DCA to the limitations of see and avoid, which we've been warning about for over 5 decades, to failures of entire organizations to evaluate and act on readily available data, heed repeated recommendations, and foster robust safety cultures, to name a few.
That was NTSB Chairwoman Jennifer Homendy. The board will issue its final report about the probable cause and new recommendations in about 2 weeks. The FAA has already restricted helicopter flights around Reagan National Airport. So, for more on today's hearing and what comes next, policy analyst Marley Hornig joins us now live on the Live Zone Primetime. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
It's wonderful to be here.
So, first and foremost, I want to get some of your initial takeaways from today's hearing.
Well, one of the things that I thought was really shocking was the statistic that there were 15,000 incidents where this kind of collision
I am on
almost happened
Fox.
between 2021 and 2025.
Much love. I'm from New York, but I live in
15,000 times
Maryland.
when a commercial airliner and a military helicopter were within 1 nautical mile.
Yes, I have it on
400 vertical
silent now
feet of
because
each
they're
other.
doing an
So,
interview.
as that brilliant woman was saying, I
the only way I'm
mean,
gonna
a
get
total
views.
system failure under the previous administration, and thank goodness for
have
the
nothing.
changes that we're seeing coming already.
When you think about this issue of air traffic, control, 50
have any.
years of these policies being recommended from many presidents across the political spectrum. From a policy perspective, why do you think this type of stuff gets ignored by a ton of administrations until something like this happens? Is there a reason for that? Is it not public enough at this point?
Honestly, I think that it would
Yeah, but I
have
can't be
more
standing up all
attention
the time.
on it if people understood why the FAA
Go to my
exists.
OnlyFans
Why
page.
does the federal government
Lil
even
Feet
hire
Dom,
air traffic
LIL
controllers and manage
dot
these
feet
systems?
dot
And it's
Dom.
very simple if you go back to the founders' America.
No,
It
I'm
is
not gonna
a
do it again.
protected property right, a
You
due
wanna see
process
more,
right
you
of
can go
every
on my
American to be
OnlyFans.
able to travel around the country
All right, I gotta turn
and
my camera
have
on.
business negotiations
Room on
and
that
operations.
sofa.
If you have a right to use your
Yeah, that's
mind,
too
use your
bad.
hands, use your grit and all of your creativity and ingenuity to create abundance for your family and create benefit for your community and your nation.
I can't talk, you guys. I am on the Prime
freely.
Zone.
And that is exactly why the federal government funds all of this infrastructure. And I think if people understood what was at stake, they would be demanding this. It would be as popular of a
Lil
program
Feet,
as many of the other ones
LIL
that people are offering, clamoring to
dot
be
feet
increased.
Interesting. So you see it more
DOM. Lil
as
Feet
introducing people to
Dom.
why it matters, and again, making it kind of a kitchen table issue
OnlyFans.
versus this sort of technical thing in the background.
Right. Well, I think we just take it for granted.
Right.
We don't really, it's invisible to us, right? We just, if we want to go somewhere, if we want to visit grandma, if we want to sign a business deal. I mean, you guys were talking before about how much money has been lost in the weather issues just from these past few days.
Yeah.
Think about how much money is lost when the airport infrastructure is shut down. It's unimaginable. Huge impact on the economy locally, nationally. So I think if people realize, hey, you know, this government doesn't have to provide this service. They provide it as a matter of civil rights, which you don't think about when you're going to the airport or you're getting screened. But that's why they do it. And of course, under that kind of philosophical framework, you want that thing operating. Everybody wants it operating. Wow, we want to do business. We're Americans.
Exactly.
So to that end, is it really an issue of the bottom line why some of these recommendations don't actually end up being implemented? Because we heard from the chairwoman today about some of the safety recommendations that they have made over the past 50 years, everything from seatbelts to airbags. They talked about, you know, the trains. They talked about airplane collision avoidance systems. Some of these have obviously been implemented, and some of these have saved thousands of lives. So does it come down to the bottom line why some of the recommendations that they cited hadn't been implemented to this point? And what will it take to get them implemented?
Go to my page, my OnlyFans
Well,
page.
I think that a lot of the administrations haven't really looked
Lil
at this
Feet
from
Dom.
this perspective. They're busy
dot
with
feet,
foreign policy or domestic policy issues that
Dom.
appear to be, let's say they you know,
If
you're talking about a bottom line, you have an economic bottom line,
If you
and then you have an
wanna
elections
see
bottom line,
content,
right?
I'm on
So
OnlyFans.
is this an issue that people get elected over? Probably not. So you don't hear about it. But what I do want to say is, you know, the Trump administration, this current administration, has already authorized $12.5 billion appropriated in the One Big Beautiful Bill, which is now active, to start to give this entire system a facelift. So I think we're going to see a lot of positive changes coming. I know they're looking in that $12.5 billion appropriation, they're already looking at spending it on upgrading radar technology, upgrading telecommunications, upgrading weather systems and tracking.
Can I arrange dinner?
And also getting a lot of the systems that are operating right now on paper, getting them digitized so that there's more tighter control and collaboration between air sites.
And Tony and I have talked also about the effort to train more FAA operators because they're facing a staffing crisis and have been for a number of years now.
Yeah, I mean, I think an interesting thing I want to ask you, again, we talk about the upgrades. I've met with some people here in DC, play golf with some contractors where they're actually helping to upgrade the systems that are 1990s style technology, which is a disgrace. Across administrations, they have not done the work to actually get this done. So my question is, when we think about, this overall, what kind of political will it take to show this to voters and say, hey, this is actually going to matter for you? Will it be about, getting it out there more consistently, showing the American public in terms of progress, or is it more about just talking about the safety issue?
Thank you.
I think people are there already, honestly, and I think, the money's been appropriated and we're going to see these upgrades. I think if they need more money to do further upgrades, as people start to see that we're upgrading from, like, as you said, like basically a Pac-Man system.
Yeah, kind of.
Something at least equivalent to the ability of your cell phone to track information. I think in that deadly and horrible tragic crash, I think that the helicopter was getting false readings on their elevation. So these things have to be remedied. They have to be remedied immediately. And I think with the number of problems the aviation industry has been publicly experiencing, there's a lot of political will. A lot of voters want this fixed. So I don't think it has to be sold anymore.
Do you think that it might take pressure from the administration or voters on the airline lobby, for example, or potentially politicians who like to put more routes at DCA that's overcrowding that airspace? Do you think there'll need to be sort of a détente from lawmakers wanting new routes or the airlines wanting to buy those routes?
No, I think they're all in coordination
You think so?
on this.
Okay.
Everyone is really relieved. People in the airline industry, the
Listen,
airline
I live
operators
in
themselves, people who are
I'm not traveling
collective
anywhere
organizations that try to
outside of
collaborate
Maryland. If you
across
don't
the
live
industry.
within 20
They
to
are
30
all
minutes from where I
thrilled
live,
with the
I'm
changes
not
coming under the One Big Beautiful Bill. They are
agreeing to
thrilled to
anything.
see these systems finally get a modernized upgrade and become safer and avoid obviously the horrific crash that did take place. But think about that, 15,000 instances. It's a miracle there was only one crash.
Yeah, near misses, exactly.
Yeah. Looking ahead, Congress, the White House, and the Pentagon Congress has weighed in, the Pentagon has weighed in, the NTSB has weighed in, the FAA has weighed in. Does there need to be more of a centralized system to oversee air safety across the country, especially as more and more air travel has become more accessible than ever. There are more flights than ever. There is more traffic in the air than ever. We saw during the last government shutdown this reduction in flights in order to maintain safety. Have we reached sort of a critical mass where we can't continue to add more and we need maybe to subtract? And does someone need to have more oversight over this system as a whole?
Well, I do think that is needed, and I know that's already being addressed because one of the further projects under that appropriation is new command and control centers that integrate various airports and align them better. So, of course, we all know you go from paper to digital. It's going to also take cybersecurity professionals. We're also going to have people monitoring those systems. We don't want any penetration. We don't want any harassment of our airlines and our air systems. But that's going to really increase and improve their ability to track things, to track the complicated movement of, let's face it, our kids, our parents, our aunts and uncles, our families, our business partners. These are people we care about. We love them. I think about Maxim Naumov, that ice skater who lost both of his parents in that crash. Irreplaceable loss for this young man who heroically is now going to be in the Olympics.
Do we think that here in the DC region, we talk about Dulles a lot, it's far out, it's a different area, people like to go to DCA because it's close. Do we think that eventually we're going to have to add more capacity to a Dulles to remodel it, or can we stick with DCA being this main hub while keeping things safe?
No, we're going to have to revamp Dulles big time, and they're going to have to improve public transportation to link Dulles to DC so that there's more incentive to use a second airport. I think DCA is so convenient.
Yeah.
When I come into DC, I don't even look at Dulles flights. I just
I don't either.
It's so convenient to fly into DCA.
Why
and
are
that's
you
what everybody
asking?
wants to do.
It
We're all in a
is.
rush.
Exactly.
So,
we go to convenience.
They're going to have to do that. I agree. And I do see signs that that's going to be coming. But they're also going to have to improve public transportation to get those tourists, lobbyists, whoever is coming in, we got to get them into DC more quickly and more efficiently, convenient.
More metro lines, basically, kind of going more instead of the one that they have, which is
and not just that, but also upgrading, the infrastructure for things like Amtrak too.
Right.
Things that have kind of fallen by the wayside over the years, and now with everyone trying to get where they're going quicker. A lot more still to be done. Marley Hornet, thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the Live Show on Primetime and breaking this down. Now, obviously, we have looked at this from more of a policy standpoint. Last night, we took a closer look at the victim impact. 1 year later, the deadly DCA collision, Reagan National Airport. This is a special that you can catch streaming now on Fox Local and Fox 5 DC's YouTube page. We talked to several of the victims' family members, all about the family members they lost, but also what they want to see happen from these recommendations from the NTSB and what they hope to happen with their pending legal cases. Katie Barlow and myself got a chance to talk to some of them. We also talked to aviation experts and an attorney. You can catch that streaming now on Fox Local and Fox 5 DC's YouTube page. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, Tony P is going to talk to us about some of the stories that he's been watching today, and a lot of stories involving immigration and custom enforcement. We'll be right back.
Thank you. You mean drink some coffee? No, it is 9:25 p.m. Oh, that's nice. Enjoy your trip. I really make it make sense. Why is it that people ask you out for dinner or dates and you live in a different time zone? This is the reason why I don't like coming on my lives. This is the reason why I don't like doing lives at all, because people just ask the most silliest questions. It's ridiculous. They're redundant. Like, same thing over and over again. You know, ask me funny questions. Like, I don't know, make me laugh. The whole purpose of me coming on here is to be interactive, you know, of course, when I'm not paying attention to the camera. But yeah, that's the whole purpose. But they have to, you're beautiful, look at yourself, and you have all that men ever wanted. Seriously, you don't know me. Looks can be looks, but do you know me as a person? Do you like what my favorite food are? What kind of movies I like to watch? You know, things like that. Like, come on. Ugh. You know, I was a correction officer for many, many, many years, and that's all I heard was, hey, beautiful, hey, queen, hey, cutie, hey, shorty. I get tired of hearing that. My single sisters loves me channel girls world. I have no idea what that is. Yep, shots fired. Man down. You should. My hobby, crochet. I love to crochet. I love to cook seafood. What? Go to my OnlyFans. Y'all want to see some kinky shit? Go to my OnlyFans.
All right, welcome back to the Live Zone Primetime on this Tuesday night. Here with Tony P. I'm producer Chris, and it's time to find out some of the other stories Tony P's been keeping an eye on.
And it's a lot of
this Tuesday night.
And of course, this is our first Live Zone Primetime since the tragic killing of Alex Preddy in Minneapolis over the weekend. We send our prayers and love to his family at this time, the people of Minneapolis. So we're going to start with that.
Yes,
President Trump
football.
is weighing in on the killing of Alex Preddy, the 37-year-old ICU nurse and U.S. citizen who was shot and killed by Border Patrol agents during a federal immigration operation in Minneapolis this past weekend. President Trump said Preddy, quote-unquote, shouldn't have been carrying a gun, even though authorities said he was legally armed under Minnesota law and had a valid permit. The comment has sparked backlash from gun rights groups and some Republicans who argue lawful gun ownership does not justify deadly force. The video shows Preddy filming agents before he was pepper sprayed, taken to the ground, and tragically killed. The case has fueled protests and intensified scrutiny of federal immigration tactics, including the removal of Agent Bovino today in Minneapolis with the replacement of Tom Homan as the new commander at large. That scrutiny is now reaching the courts as well. Minnesota's Chief Federal Judge Patrick Slitz has ordered acting ICE Director Todd Lyons to personally appear in court and warned that he could be held in contempt if he did not do so. The judge says ICE reportedly ignored court orders tied to a large enforcement surge, including missed bond hearings and unauthorized detainee transfers. He also made clear immigration enforcement does not override judicial authority. Those legal questions overlap with another case tied to immigration enforcement in Minneapolis. A federal judge has blocked the deportation and transfer of five-year-old Liam Ramos and his father after they were detained in Minneapolis and moved to a family detention center in Texas. The order pauses the case while litigation continues, and lawyers say the father has a pending asylum claim and argue that Liam's detention shows the human impact of aggressive enforcement. DHS at this time has disputed those claims. Overseas, U.S. immigration policy is also drawing criticism. Italian officials are pushing back against plans for ICE agents to assist with security tied to the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina. Leaders in Milan have called the agency unwelcome, and U.S. officials say the role would be limited to coordination and transnational threat support. New census estimates show U.S. population growth slowed again in 2025, with the population reaching about 341.8 million people. Growth was roughly 0.5%, one of the slowest rates in decades. Immigration accounted for most of the increase, adding about 1.3 million people, while births only narrowly outpaced deaths as the population continued to age. Growth was strongest in the South and West, while parts of the Midwest and Northeast of the United States lost population. In the world of education, Yale announced today expanded financial aid options for students. Families earning under $100,000 a year will now have full costs covered, including tuition and board, while families under $200,000 of income will qualify for free tuition purely. Yale says the move is aimed at widening access and reducing student debt across the board. In the world of business, UPS plans to cut about 30,000 jobs this year and close at least 24 facilities as part of a major restructuring effort. The company points to lower margin shipping declines and a shift against higher margin logistics, including healthcare distribution to compete with Amazon and others. In the world of entertainment, newly unsealed court filings in the legal battle involving Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni connected to It Ends With Us include private text messages involving Taylor Swift. Reports say Swift is upset that personal messages unrelated to the court dispute became public.
American
the text
football.
show her supporting Lively and expressing frustration, raising fresh questions about privacy in this high-profile case. Also, the world of Hollywood actress Sydney Sweeney is drawing attention after a promotional stunt tied to her lingerie brand Surin and its release to the world today. This also involved bras being placed near the Hollywood sign, and the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce says no permission was granted and is reviewing how access was gained. City officials say fines are potentially possible in this case. And finally, a bright spot from Sweden as we do the major good news now and again. A major pharmacy chain is testing a friend care policy, unquote, that gives employees paid time to build social connections, part of an effort to address workplace loneliness and overall employee well-being. Listen, you get paid to make friends, learn how to do that. I'm all down for that, Chris. We should do that because we're already friends. Maybe we can make some money on this.
I don't hate it, but it's really a sign of the time.
Seems kind of forced, but you know what? Hey, I'm okay with that. Now, this whole Sydney Sweeney situation with her new lingerie brand that got released today across the social media channels. I mean, basically, they're saying she broke into the Hollywood sign and basically...
She had permission to film there. She didn't have permission to basically touch the sign.
Right, and
here's
she basically
what I'll say.
did.
Sydney Sweeney knows anything she does becomes huge news. So we would not even know she had a lingerie line.
And how do you pronounce that? Siren? Is it siren?
I guess.
Siren?
Yeah, probably
I'll call it siren.
Siren
but
seems right.
I mean, it's interesting because she is going through sort of a kind of a public pivot, or she's having a lot of trying to balance the PR side of things, whether it be some of her comments in that interview back at the end of last year in terms of some of her public
this really
stances.
all kind of stems back to that American Eagle ad too.
Yeah, American Eagle, of course, right. The jeans ad, she didn't really respond to it adequately according to some, then she did. Also, her relationship with Scooter Braun, that whole thing is a part of it too.
No matter what.
Yeah, and it looks like it's becoming strategy, potentially.
Tony, I want to go back to what you led with, which is the situation in Minnesota. And I want to get to some video that's new tonight, because earlier tonight, Representative Ilhan Omar was holding a town hall talking about ICE and basically speaking out against it when someone in the crowd sprayed her with an unknown clear liquid. You'll see it happen in just about a second here. He was immediately tackled and led out. She defiantly said she was going to continue with her town hall, which she did, despite the fact that people in the audience encouraged her to seek medical treatment. So far, there has been no word on that suspect's identity, his motivation, or what he sprayed on her. But we recently heard about another member of Congress at Sundance being attacked.
Right, Maxwell Frost, who's the only Gen Z member of Congress. And
Yeah,
he's really a great representative for my generation.
Not what we want to see.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically a racial attack.
She's okay. And but we just wanted to bring you a quick update on that.
Thank you, Chris, for doing that. That's heartbreaking. I mean, first of all, he's a member of Congress, public figure, and I know politicians and people in the public light put themselves out there. But to have to deal with that and a horrible attack, and then you have Maxwell Frost at Sundance being the victim of a racist attack, and we have not seen a ton of actors from there speaking out about what happened there, and he was, hurt very badly in that event, and it's just truly, when we're seeing what happened with Alex Preddy and the bipartisan backlash to what happened and the tragic killing of him, and just, we see also with his family putting out the statement over the weekend and what he was doing, and his, government footage. Our great Jim Lokay said it last night on the Final Five. The videos directly contradict what the government said about this man, and an ICU nurse and helping out our veterans. We are at potentially a boiling point. What's happening in already there. It's happening in Minneapolis, and we're seeing the shift from the president, whether it be letting go of Bavino and adding in Tom Homan. But this fight is going to extend to Congress this week on Thursday when they vote on the appropriations bills. Will this Homeland Security bill pass? I don't think it will. I think Democrats will eventually come together and probably shut the government down in a partial way.
We'll continue to follow this right here on the Live Zone Primetime and here on Fox 5. In the meantime, Tony P., we're going to change gears after the break. We're going to talk about a story that I think you'll love, because we are talking about building community and connections, and we're doing it one step at a time. The founder of the MoCo Walking Club is going to join us live coming up next. First, though, we're going to take a quick break, leave you with a live shot of Frederick, Maryland from our Fox 5 Skycam. We'll be right back.
Okay, so everybody's pretty much gone. I can't talk because I'm on the Lifetime Prime show. So, yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some more pineapples.
Jesse, this is Chris at Fox 5. Can you hear me?
Hey, yes, I can.
All right, great. You're coming up next in just about a minute 30.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your patience. Welcome back to the Live Zone Primetime on this Tuesday night. Tony P., I think you're going to love this next story.
Oh, I know I will.
Because it's all about building connection.
So wholesome.
It's about community, and it's about combating the loneliness epidemic.
Thank you. I think these
are all things Tony P.
I don't need to hear anymore.
These are all things Tony P. loves. I saw this story today on the Banner Montgomery Instagram page, and I immediately thought of you. Because, like I said, it's all about those community aspects. Jesse Balzer moved to Montgomery County from Miami last year for an internship. Now, after a solo walk in Gaithersburg back in November, she posted a TikTok inviting people to join her on her next walk. Tony, more than 40 people showed up for that one. Now she's helping other people build community and make friends one step at a time with the MoCo Walking Club. And tonight, Jessie joins us live to talk about her movement and more. Jessie, thank you so much for joining us here on the Live Zone Primetime.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
All right, so you have like more than 800 members of this walking club now. Is that correct?
Wow.
Yeah, we're actually at 920 as of a few minutes ago. Yeah, it's growing quick.
Basically 1,000. That's
Hopefully after this, even more. So, like I said, I saw your story today on this, and I immediately loved it because I love this idea of using social media for connection when so often we talk about how it's basically isolating people.
Right.
Can you talk to me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I think social media has done huge things. So that's kind of why I threw my TikTok out in the first place. I didn't think it would reach 40,000 people, but it definitely tapped into some loneliness that we see online and just a want to get off the screen, I think, and really get into your community and make some friends. So I think that's a really big win that social media has. Like, we're on our phone all the time. So finding people around you that are also doing the same thing kind of brings you together out in the community.
So what do you think it is about the power of just walking together that really can bring individuals who don't know each other together and learning about one another? What is it about that walk per se?
Yeah, I think a walk is very like low stakes. You're not really paying anything. You're just showing up as you are. And walking in itself brings you a lot of serotonin and dopamine and getting in your movement for your body. And it's just an easy way to kind of get to know someone in a casual way, and being in nature is so great. So right now it's pretty cold, so it's not so great walking in the weather right now. But I think like bringing people out of their houses into the community and showing up just as they are in this like casual, like walking community is just what's really made it grow so much, because people love to be outside, people love to walk, and it's bringing everyone together.
So you have kind of built this community, which is amazing, and it's kind of evolved beyond you. You have this Discord channel now where you talked about how, you know, there are sort of these sub channels and people have found like babysitters through this. What does it feel like to kind of be responsible for bringing all of these strangers together for something, for and forming this connection?
It's so powerful, and it's so special to me, like being an observer in the chat. And we have all these chats like for moms, for runners, for Latinas, for LGBTQ plus. Like, you can find people that you connect with and really identify with. So it's really special to see people that are in the same area being able to find each other online and then eventually meet up, whether it's at a walk or at an event. So it's been very special, and just I'm so grateful to see how the community has come together based off what was kind of on accident. I was looking for 3 friends, and here are almost 1,000 people like getting together and building such an incredible community.
And on these walks, what is the structure? Is there a certain topic that everybody talks about? Is it a certain distance? Are there different games that are played, or like kind of introductory items or icebreakers that are done? Like, how does the walk actually go structurally? I know it's kind of a deep question, but like, how does it go, like kind of play by play?
Yeah, so usually I'll throw out a few walking trail suggestions in our chat, and people vote on where they want to go and what time works best for them. And when we arrive to the trail, they're all around Montgomery County, so everyone usually drives there. Sometimes people will carpool now. I like to make them stand in a circle and say their names, which a lot of people hate, but we usually say our name, how old we are, where we live, like around the area. Sometimes we share our career, and sometimes they hate it, but I make them share a fun fact. It's just a funny way to break the ice.
No, it's how I did it at camp, you know, when we were kids, how we did it.
Right, and I was a camp counselor, so I think that's really shining.
Yep, so was I.
Here now, yeah. Usually our walks are about like 3 miles or around an hour. So I like to try and find a trail that has a loop that we can do a few times. And sometimes they're more hikes than walks. Like, we found that they've been a bit more challenging than expected. but it's been really fun. A lot of dogs show up, and people will bring some friends like from outside Moco Club, and everyone just comes together and gets their steps in, gets their body moving, and it makes some friends at the same time.
So I want to come back to this idea of making friends. Obviously, you had moved here, so you may have had friends back in Miami, but you're in a new area. Why do you think it's kind of hard to make friends? And is it harder here in the DMV now that you've been here for about a year? Do you have any sort of like insights into what it's like here in the DMV? And is it unique in that sense?
That's a good question. And I think making friends at any age or any place is hard. That's part of life. For me, I moved here like late July, so it's only been like 6 months now at this point. And I did come from a bigger community of friends when I lived in Florida. So coming here, I transitioned to a 9 to 5, and I felt like I was just stuck inside after the workday, pretty tired, and I didn't really have anyone to reach out to, which is why I would go on walks. And then I had that idea like, oh, it would be nice to have someone just go on a walk with me after a long day at work. But to answer your question about making friends in the DMV, I think the DMV is unique that it's so diverse and there are so many people, but at the same time, it's hard to put yourself out there, and it's hard to go outside and like find people that you relate to. So I think I really tapped into the want for community, but not really knowing where to find it. Because myself, when I moved here, I was like, where do I even make friends? I don't want to go alone to the mall or the bar, wherever you make friends. Like, it's kind of difficult to figure out where to do it. So I feel like I definitely opened this opportunity for people to just show up as they are and come alone and find a friend when they leave.
What do you think are people's biggest fears when trying to meet new people, especially in our generation with post-COVID and the technology just really being put on us? What is that biggest fear, and how do you see people overcoming that?
I'd say there's a lot of things that come to my mind, but the first one is like judgment from others, like a fear of not fitting in with people around you. So I think at least what Moco Club tries to do is build these connections between people and find how you're similar to someone with you, whether it's something really small like your career or something big like growing up in the same area or sharing the same background. I think like breaking that barrier of figuring out how you do relate to someone can kind of help you realize like, oh, maybe I am more similar to these people than I realize. And that's just one of the first steps to making friends, is relating to each other.
Well, I think it's also a great thing geography-wise that not everyone can make it to downtown DC, and a lot of these sort of social clubs are based there. My final question for you, Jesse, is if people want to join, where should they go to do it?
Sure, great question. If you want to join, you can go to Moco Walking Club on Instagram, and we have our Discord linked in the link in the bio. So you do have to have Discord downloaded on your phone, I believe, in order for the link to work, but you should just press the link and it'll allow you right into the Discord, and you can join our 920 members.
All right, Jesse, thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the Live Zone Prime Time. Happy trails. Hopefully it warms up a little bit in that
next week,
so that you guys can get back out there.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing our story. I really appreciate it.
No problem. All right, we're going to take another quick break, leaving you with a live picture from the National Harbor, the Capitol Wheel. When we come back, we're going to hear from the star of Shrinking Season 3, Jason Segel, talking all about his friendship with Harrison Ford, the special guest stars in this new season, and more. We'll be right back.
That's cool.
Right.
Sorry. I was staying quiet because I'm on a live
Jesse,
stream.
you're all clear.
Thank you.
demonstrating what you need most. You got great friends. It sucks that we're such good people.
Right?
And a job that we love. It's a good life. I know you want more.
Okay, bye, Jimmy. Dude, how did you not ask her out?
Liz, you know I hate being spied on.
Hey, she's right though, man. That was painful.
What the hell?
I told you she liked him. Hey, got it. I got it. Everybody, get out of my yard.
So that was part of the trailer for season 3 of the Apple TV Plus hit Shrinking. The Emmy-nominated dramedy returns this week. Season 3 premiere tomorrow, as a matter of fact. First, though, I got a chance to talk to star and co-creator Jason Segel all about this season's big-name guest stars, including one I think you'll be excited to see, his friendship with Harrison Ford. Jealous of him about that. And a mini How I Met Your Mother reunion. Take a look.
This is one of those shows that I recommend to almost everyone I know. And one of the things that I always tell them is that the ensemble is so great. And what makes it so unique is no matter what combination of characters is on the screen, it just works. And I was wondering, in your opinion, as someone who has been part of some legendary ensembles, what is the magic recipe to this? Is it the acting? Is it the casting? Is it the writing? Or some sort of combination of all three?
Well, I think the writing, it all starts with the writing, for sure, because if you're doing not so great material, the thing's not going to be great. I don't think there's a really cheat code around that. But I do think that in terms of the ensemble, I'm not making this up, but from like table read 1, everyone arrived with the intention to kill. You know, like I know what to look for, and like people's scripts were marked up. And like earmarked, and there were like little notes of how to turn the joke right and all that. And I was looking around like, oh, everyone's here to kill today. And I think that a big part of that too is Harrison Ford, because Harrison Ford could show up to the show however he wants. He's Harrison Ford. He could just say line every time it was his time to speak, and someone could say it and he could repeat it. We'd be thrilled. This guy shows up to make each scene as good as it can possibly be. He treats everyone like their teammates, and like a carpenter, like we're here to build a show together. And I think that sets the tone.
I think everyone has gotten to see a different side of him as well a little bit, even from that behind-the-scenes video from the season 2 wrap. Did you even know he had that side?
Yeah, look, I can't give too much away, but there's the gruff Paul, and maybe gruff Harrison in interviews, like a persona. But I've actually had really intimate talks with Harrison as we talk about the show and the themes and all that. And he's given me amazing life advice. He's my friend, and like I've seen all these sides of him. It's really crazy to say that, but like there's a reason that he's been an artist for all these years. He's just like,
Go get your ball.
he's all of it.
Waiting for
Go get your ball.
So when you have that tight of an ensemble, and now you're welcoming in some new faces, Jeff Daniels and Michael J. Fox this season, what was that like?
All of these things are such thrills that people want to participate in the show. They're always people that I've admired since I'm young, and so then to all of a sudden be watching them work and to have them be fans of us, it's all crazy, it all just feels crazy.
And you also have a little bit of a reunion as well, because Kobe Smulders is back now for season 3 as well. Was it fun to reunite, and is it a little weird to go from playing friends for so long to maybe playing more than friends this time around?
I've been wanting to do something like this with Kobe for a really long time. Our storylines never really overlapped that much in How I Met Your Mother, and just think she's the best human being and the best actor. We have a really similar ethos about work, that this doesn't have to be hard. You can still be really pleasant and do great work. And so like all of it was a total joy. And it felt really, really natural to do this kind of dating storyline. I think because we've known each other for 20 years.
Finally, the show obviously is about therapy and the impact it can have on people's lives. Has this show been therapeutic for you?
and very calming for me, for sure. You know, like, it's really neat when it all comes together. Everybody is nice. Everybody works hard. People like the show. The show is good. Yeah, it's a very calming experience for me.
Well, we can't wait to check out season 3, Jason. Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Hey, thanks, man. Likewise.
And just a reminder, you can catch the season 3 premiere of Shrinking on Wednesday on Apple TV Plus. Tony P, I'm not sure if you've ever
That
watched
was
the
awesome,
show. I don't know
dude.
if you've ever watched the show.
That was great.
But if you are, did you ever watch Ted Lasso?
Yes, of course.
Okay,
Oh yeah,
so
totally.
This is
not the whole
sort of
thing,
a
but
spiritual successor to Ted Lasso
Right.
in terms of its positivity, the messaging, and also Brett Goldstein, who played Roy Kent.
Yes.
Is not only a co-creator, he's one of the writers, and he stars in season. He has a guest starring role in
Right.
season 2, and he'll be back again in season 3.
it's a wholesome
as
show.
well.
It just feels like How I Met Your Mother met a little Ted Lasso, and there's this kind of. I just find it to be very, very wholesome. And I got to tell you, watching you two interview together was a lot of fun. Yes, great question, my friend. You've always reminded me of a Jason Segel.
Okay,
you always you get a little bit of that
You are
Segel
not
energy.
the first
I
person
knew it.
to ever tell me that. I went to a party like post college
Yeah,
one time, and that was the first thing someone said to me. And this was peak, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, like Jason
Right,
Segel
yeah.
too. So I was a little bit chubbier in at the time, and you know we had similar dad bods, even though at the time we were not dad father
Not
figures
yet.
type of a thing. Not yet. Yeah, I jumped the gun on that one. But I have been a huge fan of his ever since How I Met Your Mother. But his career, he goes even further back than that. People remember him from Freaks and Geeks. He kind of hooked up with Judd Apatow and that gang really
Right.
early. He is also, you know, the puppet, obviously, aspect from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Also, he did the Muppet movie when that came back.
That's right.
And, you know, he's just gone on to do... Also, one of the other co-creators of the show is Bill Lawrence, who also did Scrubs, and he also did Spin City with Michael J. Fox. And so he has kind of brought Michael J. Fox out of retirement multiple
I love
times.
this is wonderful.
Including
He's in the
now
series.
in this show, and I'm really excited to see this. It's not really a spoiler in any way, shape, or form, but Harrison Ford's character, Paul, who is a mentor and a co-worker to Jimmy, played by Jason Segel, has Parkinson's in the show.
Wow.
And so that's a big part of his storyline.
Yep.
It will be in this season, so it makes sense that Michael J. Fox will now be in the show.
No,
he
this
plays
is,
a patient at a center that Harrison Ford's character is at as well.
And I think about, again, like, it tells true story, but does it in a very heartfelt way. This series exudes warmth to me. I'm excited to watch it.
It really does. And like I said, no matter what combination of characters end up on the screen together, it works.
It's a great
And
ensemble.
Jessica Williams, I have the biggest crush on her because of this show, because she is so funny and just she's amazing. Thank you to everyone who joined us here on the Live Zone Primetime.
Yes.
For Tony P, I'm producer Chris. Fox 5 News at 10 coming up next right here on Fox Local. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 9.